This video is presented by EA Game Changers.
Hello, WabbaPlays here, and today I am very excited to talk to you about a game that I've been very looking forward to when I first saw it, and that is called Lost in Random. Now, Lost in Random was first announced at EA Play, and as soon as I saw it, it was like this weird, creepy, Tim Burton-esque Little Nightmares type game. But then they introduced the fact that there's like a card component and a stop turn-based type thing, and it reminded me of Valkyria Chronicles, which I named my dog after. We were fortunate enough through the Game Changer program to be able to get an advanced preview of the game and sit down with two of the devs for a Q&A session. So today what I'm gonna do is share with you a little bit about that presentation, what some of the questions and answers are, and what you can expect of this game. I also have a first hour and a half walkthrough of the game, which I played on PC, which is gonna blow people's minds. But I had a lot of fun with it, and that's going to be on my channel in a separate video as well. Link in the description. So let's get into it. The developers, Zoink Games, they are very known for titles like Stick It to the Man, Ghost Giant, Flipping Death, and Fee. They're located in Sweden. They're an indie studio of 80 people, which doesn't seem super indie, but they have a lot of good experience, and they're known for narrative-driven, innovative games with a very strong art style. What they wanted to do with this game was create something darker. A lot of their games have been very bright, colorful, but they want to make a dark fairy tale, and that's how Lost in Random was born. Everything in this game is about randomness. From the worlds, to the fact that your little companion's a dice, to your character's name, and the person she's trying to rescue. Odd and Even sisters, and it's run by DICE. DICE is a basic icon for games, and they want to make it a living character, and then things grew naturally after that. So the world is run by a queen that has a dark evil dice. So there's all this lore that you learn like just in this game. So basically everybody had their own dice, and that's how they like made decisions. But then there was a dice war, and all the dice were wiped out, and there's one dice that remains, and the queen who rules over all has that dice, and every morning she wakes up, rolls it, and it impacts every world. There's different towns, 1 croft, 5 topolis, 2 town. When you're 12, what happens is when you're 12 years old, the people from Sixtopolis come down, you roll the dice, and that determines where you live in towns 1 through 6. So it's kind of like Hunger Games, when each person has to like get, it's, what do they call it, the reaping? It's kind of like that, except you could just be stripped away from your parents and family, and you have to go live somewhere else. And one thing that I really like about this game, it looks like Little Nightmares, and the gameplay is very much like Valkyria Chronicles, where you can move around and then stop, and you can think about your next move, what attack you do. And it's like a Kingdom Hearts 365, the GBA one, where there's like different cards, and the voice acting is like really good so far. Actually, the voice of like the dice that you find, mascot character DICEY, is actually one of the developers who spoke to us. He was kind of a placeholder, and then they loved his voice in it so much that they just kept using it. So that's kind of the overview of Lost in Random that they shared with us, and now I want to go into a little bit of the question and answer. How long did you spend developing Lost in Random? It took them about 3 years. I believe they said it was the longest of all their dev cycles. Lost in Random, how was it created? Why did they pick 2 sisters? They wanted to tell the eyes through these characters. It's kind of always been there since they started. They wanted to do a sister looking for a sister, share that sisterhood theme, and it just kind of naturally popped up. Initially, it was about a boy and mom, but then they moved on to siblings. It said, which realm is your favorite to play in which world? And they said 5 topolis, and that's actually where the cards used to be made. So you get a certain amount of cards, you interact with it when you fight, and apparently there are no more card makers in the world. So it sounds like there's a little bit of lore when you get to 5 topolis that I'm excited to learn. How long is the game itself? It is about 10 to 15 hours to complete, but there's also a story mode that if you don't want to worry about combat, you can change it between to story mode, and you can change that any time in the game. So it seems like it's very accessible to people who want that combat experience and people who just want to experience the story as well, which so far I recommend. Are there deck building elements in the game? There are different combinations, but it's not real deck building. It's not like Hearthstone or Magic. It's pretty intuitive and it's easy for beginners, but it's complex enough where if you want to do different combinations with the cards, you can learn those as well. But it's not like make or break if you're not good at card games. It's very high level. So someone said, again, I'm a parent, and they said, is Lost in Random for kids? It may not be suitable, but if your child can watch Nightmare Before Christmas and the darkest Harry Potter movie, they should be fine. But otherwise, you might want to wait till they get a little bit older. So DICEY. DICEY is like one of the main characters. You find him early on. That's not a spoiler, it's in the trailer. And they said, how do you bring personality to a character that doesn't really talk? I mean, he makes gibberish, and you know, how does he interact in combat? Olaf, who's one of the developers, was a placeholder again voice, and he just spoke in all gibberish with a bunch of like Easter egg words. In combat, he will run ahead to fetch energy cubes. He'll show you elements and points of interest. And they said he's like a puppy dog, but also the dice in this game are like super old, and he like is super knowledgeable, and he's really powerful. Just he might not always show it. So he's like this nice lovable character that can just yeet you into oblivion. When is Lost in Random coming out? Lost in Random will be coming out on September 10th, 2021 to PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Switch. It will be on next gen and last gen. They want everybody to have a chance to check out this game. And that's all the questions we had from the Q&A. Again, if you want a first look at the first about hour and a half, go to my channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. I have a whole playthrough, my reactions of it. It was a lot of fun, and thank you again, EA, and to the fine folks at Zoink Games for giving us this chance and honestly making this. I'm super excited to play the whole thing. So let me know if you are looking forward to the game. Check it out in the comments below. If you want to see more games, mainly hockey, please check out my YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.